Hello, all my yarn lovers and fiber artists. Hi, my name's May. I love yarn. I love to knit and crochet. Those are my hobbies. And I also happen to have been born visually impaired, legally blind, and completely colorblind. So I knit and crochet by feel. And today's video is going to be a yarn review, okay? And the yarn that we are looking at today is the yarn called Dottie. Here it is. It's by Premier Yarn. It is a number 3 DK weight yarn. It's 100% acrylic. It is machine wash and tumble dry, and they recommend for knitting a US size 5 knitting needle or 3.75 millimeter and about a G crochet hook, so that that 4 millimeter, 4.25, somewhere in there. But of course, if you're like me, you sometimes like to play around with that a little bit, right? But anyways, so when I do a yarn, now these are some really big skeins, by the way. These skeins are 656 yards. Yeah, so they go a long ways, okay? So you can get a lot of mileage out of one of these skeins. I'm just saying. So I still have plenty of it. I am holding it up in the color Strawberry Fields. So it is the base is white, and then this particular color, as somebody who's colorblind, I'll be honest with you, I struggle to figure out the colors. There's so many, it's like shifting little dot patterns, and I struggle to figure out what's going on with the yarn. But the Strawberry Fields to me indicated strawberry, so sort of like pinks, right? Pink on the verge of red for the colors of strawberries, and then some green for the leaves, and maybe some yellows. So this seemed like a very bright, very spring kind of a yarn, right? Very springy, very bright, very colorful. And that also, I think it comes in about 5, 6, 7 colorways, something like that. So there's not a lot of color choices. But they're all very, very colorful yarns. They're very, very busy yarns. And so the other color that I got was a color called Creekside. And the very first project that you watched me work on this channel on a Whip Wednesday and a show for a Finish It Friday was this little baby cardie. It's a V-neck baby cardie with the ribbing on it, and this is in the color Creekside. Now this, to me, as somebody who's colorblind, I sort of listened to Creekside, and I guessed about right in terms of the colors. It's another white base, it's a white background, and then the colors on the Creekside are, I think the back, you can see it really well, are like browns and tans, right? And then creek, so there'd be some blues in that, and some greens, and I believe there's also some yellows and even some grays in this. I believe that's what my sister and my mom told me, and I believe AI said all those colors except for gray. It did not pick up on the gray. But I used the Gemini from Google to help me with colors, and I don't really know how accurate it is. But anyways, so the first thing I'm going to say about this yarn is that it's very busy visually, right? It's got all these dots. I think, well, the first thing actually I'll say was the texture. It's acrylic. It's 100% acrylic. So in my opinion, acrylics are great for babies, right? They're great for baby projects. They're great for child projects. They're great for baby blankets. They're great for charity blankets. If you don't know who the recipient is of your blanket, right, and you're working on it for a charity, like maybe a children's hospital, a children's camp like the Boggy Creek, a homeless shelter, a nursing home, then acrylics are great because you want to make sure those are machine wash and dry, and you also don't know if the person's going to have allergies or not, right, to wools or anything. So it's really good to just do acrylics if you're not sure who the recipient is. So okay, I've been knitting for years, like 16 years, and I tended to mostly stick with natural fibers like wools, or the wool nylon sock blends, or cotton, some cotton and acrylic blends. But I didn't do a lot of like garments with acrylics for a long time because I just didn't like the feel of a lot of acrylic yarns. But I'm going to tell you what, Premier Yarns really has acrylics down. Like, I mean, acrylic yarns have come a long ways, first of all, and this particular acrylic is really, really soft. Okay, like I can touch it on my cheek, I can touch it on my neck, right? Like your neck is real sensitive, your cheeks, your neck, your wrist, like those real sensitive areas of your skin. Ah, you can rub this on there and it just feels so, so soft, right? This is like the kind of yarn that you can wear on bare skin. It's the kind of yarn that you can wear like around your neck for a scarf, right? It's very, very soft. And so I definitely think because of that, I think it's a great baby yarn. Like all this little baby V-neck cardi, this is a free pattern on the Premier Yarn website, okay? And then the other knit project that you saw me working on the channel was this baby ruffle dress in the strawberry fields. And this is also a free pattern on the Premier website. And then they also have another knit baby dress. I think they have a crochet one. They got some baby blankets on there, that kind of thing. So their projects are all baby projects. They're very much geared for baby projects, and I can see why, and for a number of reasons. One, because it's so soft. Right, it's soft and it's machine washable. So I do agree. It's a great baby sort of toddler kind of a yarn. It's just beautiful for that. The texture is great. I think kids will like, sort of the different spots and stuff and speckles on there. I think kids will find that really fun, right? So I definitely think that it's a great baby yarn. Okay. And so then, of course, for me to do a yarn review, what I like to say is that I need to be able to try and both knit and crochet with it, because I do both, right? Not everybody does. And sometimes some people will see a yarn knit and then they're like, but what does it look like crocheted? Because I only crochet. Or some people, only knit and they'll see it crocheted, like, but I only knit. So what does it look like? So I definitely, before I do a yarn review, I want to at least try to knit and crochet with a yarn. And if it doesn't work out or I don't like it, I'll just come on and tell you, I don't think it's a great yarn for knitting, okay? So I did crochet with it. I made this little hat out of the creek side as well. And I had intended for this hat to go with the baby cardi and be like a set, it's like a gift it to somebody. But, the cardi is in like a 3-month baby size. And realistically, the hat, well, I think it's a little too big for a 3-month-old baby. It's probably more like, year-old child or something. I'm not good at baby sizing at all, just so you know, but it doesn't matter because eventually I'll find just the right home for it, right? I'm not at all worried that that knitting and crochet hats and things are gonna be homeless, right? There's people out there that you can give things to. You'll find the right person for it. So, but anyways, I definitely wanted crocheters. So this is just just your standard double crochet beanie, right? Nothing fancy, just your typical double crochet beanie. I did it all in the double crochet, top down double crochet, and then I did around a single crochet on the bottom. So this is what it's going to look like in your typical double crochet. So you can see this. So the hat, you got it in just a plain old double crochet. And with the ruffle baby dress, you got your stockinette, right? You got your stockinette stitch in knitting, and then we do some garter stitch at the base of the dress, right? So this is what it looks like in garter stitch. I know garter stitch, it's a little bit shorter than your stockinette stitch, right? Garter stitch is a little bit more of a squat stitch, right? And it can work up differently. And patterned yarns can look differently in garter stitch. So you got a little garter on the cuffs of the sleeves here. So we got some garter stitch, we got some stockinette stitch, and of course on the baby cardi, you got your ribbing on the cuffs and on the bottom, on the neckband. So you really get a chance to see, right, what these dots are going to do in all these different kind of patterns, right? You get to see what the dots do in ribbing, what the dots do. And this is just a knit one, purl one ribbing. And so then I talked about it already on my Finish It Friday video. I was like, ooh, this yarn is so nice, right? I'm like, it is such a soft yarn that I wanted to make something for me with it. Yeah, I did. So I did my tank top. You saw me on a Whip Wednesday working it. You saw me with it. Ooh, I still got a string there. I'm really paranoid about tying off my ends, because when I cut some of them, I cut them too short and I clip the yarn and whole thing comes unraveled. Scary for me. So sometimes you see me with ends on my project because I'm seriously terrified to clip all my ends. So anyway, so I was like, so thinking like, this yarn is so soft. I really want to know what it feels like, because I love the feel working with it on my hands. Like, some yarns don't feel very good on your hands when you're working with them, but then the finished fabric is still, it's still really nice. It still feels like a nice finished fabric. It just doesn't always feel fun to work with. So I had to know. I was like, ooh, is it as nice to wear as it is to work with, right? I don't know. So I had to make myself a garment out of it. So you saw the videos where I started with my little, crochet. I did a little tutorial on how to do the crochet into the back loop to create the ribbing on this tank top. So you can see how that works up right here. You can see, and then I talked about how I did this little mesh on the tank top. So that gives you the opportunity to see. And then, of course, I switch over because I really do like the, tops of my tank tops to be in stockinette stitch. I like them to be nice and solid. So that's more of the creek side in stockinette, as well as the mesh and the crochet ribbing. So this really, I think, working up these different projects gives us a good opportunity, right, to see what the dot patterning is going to do in just different, different types of stitches, right? And then I think I talked about this when I talked about my tank top too. I ended up just choosing to do plain old stockinette stitch, just stockinette and garter stitch for the straps. And I think I mentioned it in my Finish It Friday video, but I don't remember for sure. I finally just decided to do that because it is visually, it's a very, very busy yarn. Okay, it's a busy yarn. And I was like, you know what? Any lace, any like detailed lace patterning is just going to get lost, right, with the dots. And so that's like the one thing. Like, for me, I personally think that, like, in stockinette stitch, I think it's beautiful, right? I think kids will enjoy wearing all this. I think they'll like, like the busyness. I think they'll like the brightness of the strawberry fields and stuff. But I did the feather and fan blanket on my channel, and I did actually start to work this yarn up for that blanket. And I just thought, you know what? I think that visually that yarn is just too busy for that lace, Now, that's just my opinion, okay? All my yarn reviews are just my opinion. They're just my experience. And you might feel very differently. Like, some people love busy yarns, and they would find the fact that I chose to do my baby blanket, my feather and fan blanket in solids, like, they'd find that visually super, super boring. Like, some people just need a lot of visual stimulation, and they can't stand to work in solid colors and all of that. And I like some things in solids. I think when you have a beautiful lace, I think it's good to just showcase the beautiful lace and not, make it too busy so the lace doesn't get lost in the pattern. That's my opinion. So I think for Dottie, and my thoughts are that, I wouldn't want to do a super detailed lace work with it. But, you do you, right? Maybe you're like, no, I think they'll look great. So if you think it would, then you do all your lace work in it. I don't, I think we're all different that way. Like, even for me, like on the mesh work, I did this crochet mesh with it. And even to me, that's like, borderline too busy. I'm like, I don't know how I feel. I mean, I think it looks pretty. I do. I think it looks cool worked up, but it definitely is different than than worked up in just the stockinette stitch with the sweater and the dress, where you can just appreciate, the visuals of the patterning, right? So I think that is really more of an individual preference. I really do. I think this yarn texturally, I think it's going to make really, really amazing baby blankets. I just haven't found the right pattern for it yet, okay? To fit my taste. Like other people's taste are gonna be like, no, do all the blankets, do all the lace, do the ripple stitch. It's gonna be beautiful and ripple stitch. And some people are gonna love that and gravitate to that. I just personally, for me, I wasn't liking it. So I frogged it, ripped it, right? Frogged it, and chose to do my blanket in a solid. So for me, I think for some people, they're going to find this yarn too busy for some stitch patterns, okay? But other people aren't. Other people are going to love it. No matter what, they're going to love it. So, but I think if you're wanting just stockinette projects, right? Like, because sometimes some stockinette projects are kind of boring and just plain colors. So, like, I think for this ruffle baby dress, it's really a pretty simple pattern, right? It's not a complex pattern. And so it really, the dots give it great, visual interest, right? It keeps it from being just a plain old dress. And so it gives it just a nice sort of visual aspects of it that can make it fun. So I think for me, I'm still looking for just the right pattern for a baby blanket to do it. But I definitely still have a lot of this Strawberry Fields, okay? There's a lot of it. The ruffle dress, I did it in size 2 toddler. And these are, free patterns from Premier. They're baby garments. I made up the tank myself. The 2 toddler dress took an entire skein and then just a little bit more on one of the sleeves is it that I needed out of a brand new skein. Okay, so you can do almost the entire 2 toddler dress. You will have to get a second skein just in case of the 656 yards to do a 2 toddler or larger on the dress, but it really goes a long way. There's a lot of mileage to it. I think it's affordable. It's a nice acrylic, so I think you could knit up a really, really nice baby blanket with probably two skeins, maybe 3 at the most. You could get a really, really nice baby blanket out of it. Yeah. So for me, I think it's about finding the right pattern to combine the busyness for. So that to me was the only, that's the only really like negative thing I can say about it. Honestly, I loved working with it. Like in terms of knitting, it felt great on my hands, didn't feel rough. It did not split on me when it came to both knitting and crochet. It was not splitty. Like you hear me talk on some of my videos, I'm like, ooh, that's a little bit splitty when I crochet with it. I did not have any issues splitting. And I used my, for crochet, I used my aluminum boy hooks. I actually really like my aluminum boy hooks. I know they get kind of a bad rap and there's like a lot of fancier crochet hooks out there. I actually really, really like my aluminum boys. So I just use aluminum boy hooks on the crochet and I had no issues with splitting. I think it's easy to work with. I think if you're a beginner knitting and crocheter, and you're looking for a really fun, really, a yarn that you can do some baby blankets or some charity blankets, or some, baby garments like these that are mostly in stockinette, but you don't have to do a lot of fancy stitching, I think it could be a really, really great choice for you. So that I think is mostly, I think as soon as I find the right stitch pattern for a blanket, I'll probably try to make one because I got a lot of the Strawberry Fields and I can't really wear these colors, right? These aren't my colors, right? So I gotta do something with my leftover Strawberry Fields. I do. So I will look for just the right pattern for this yarn to be compatible with it, and try to, you know, work on that at some point. Don't know when. But I love my tank top. I love the feel of it. I think it feels great on my skin. It really does. It feels nice to wear. It feels smooth and silky and soft to wear. It's a DK, so it's not too heavy. It is acrylic, okay? So it's not for your summer garments. It's not going to be breathable like a cotton, right? Most of us like to make our summer garments out of cotton because it's really, really light and breathable. But this is a DK, but that is why I chose to do mesh on the bottom of the tank top, was to, you know, to make it breathable, right? To make my tank top airy and breathable. That's why we put some mesh on it. Because I like my summer garments to be breathable. So I just made it breathable when it wasn't. So, but I think that if you wear acrylics in the summertime, then I think it's a good yarn, because it isn't too heavy. Being a DK, it's not like a, you know, I think most of us, you know, it's, yeah, I like to wear my summer garments at a DK. Although I definitely have made some in worsted, as long as it's like a cotton, right? Or a wool or something breathable. So anyways, I like it so much that I definitely would like to make myself, like I actually thought about making myself a pair of socks with it. But here is the one, if you're visually impaired like myself, I'm colorblind, right? May's colorblind. And so the one downside that, like, if you're visually impaired, okay, like me, like I can't make sure that my sleeves match, right? Like a sighted person could make sure that they got their sleeves on their cardi matching. They could make sure that they started the yarn on each sleeve with the same color, and got their sleeves to match. Okay, like my straps on my tank top. I'm colorblind. And so I can't tell which color, I couldn't tell which color I did. I don't know what color the straps are on my tank top, okay? I'll just be real with you. I don't know what colors they are. I know that they're different colors. That I can tell you. My straps on my tank top are different colors. But I don't know what colors they are. But I know that they don't match each other, right? So if you're colorblind, like myself, you may have great difficulties trying to get straps to match, trying to get socks to match, because I love the feel of this and I want very much to make myself a pair of socks out of it, but I'm not going to. As well, I thought about it. I thought about it a lot. Wanted to cast them on, but there's no way that I will be able to make those socks match visually, okay? I can't tell how to restart the yarn in the same place to get the same pattern repeat in terms of colors. So if you're colorblind, if you're visually impaired and you can't see the details of the colors well enough, that's going to be a downside for you. So as much as I want to make myself a pair of socks out of this yarn, I'm not going to. And I'm a little bit sad about this because I really enjoy wearing my tank top. But I am thinking about maybe I can make myself like a cardi or something. Like I'm looking at, okay, the cardi pattern on Premiere. I said this when I did the Finish It Friday video on the cardi. I think they had like 8 sizes. This is the smallest. The cardi that I made is the smallest. It's a 3-month. They got like 3 month, 6 month, 12-month 2T. And it goes, I think it goes all the way up to 10-year-old child. And so if you're like myself, right, I could probably take the 10-year-old child version and modify that to fit me. I'm pretty sure. I don't think it would take too much more modification for me to be able to make the 10-year-old child version fit on me. So I am contemplating that. I'm looking at this Creekside, right? Looking at this little adorable baby cardi in the Creekside. Looking at my tank top going like, well, in the summertime, I want it meshy and breathable. But what if I want to wear it in the fall, right? The browns and stuff. What if I want to wear that in the fall or the earlier spring and I don't want it meshy all the time, right? So I am thinking about taking their 10-year-old version of their cardi and modifying it a little bit. And maybe making, because I have enough of the Creekside left over too. So I got 3 packs and they're 656 yards. So I got 3 packs in both the strawberry and the creek side. So I definitely, and the baby cardi and the 3-month did not even take a whole skein. I did tap into the second skein a little bit for my tank, but not even that much. Like right here, I worked the tank from the bottom up, did all the crochet and most of the knitting. This is my join for where I put my second skein of yarn in. And then plus I made the hat too. Had I not made the hat, I probably could have done the whole baby cardi and tank top with 1 skein of yarn. So, but I tapped into my skein for my baby hat. So, you know, realistically, I still have a lot of yardage left of both colors. So I'm thinking baby blanket with strawberry fields, and I'm thinking maybe a modified cardi for me at some point. Don't know when we'll start that. Would you like to all hang out and see and watch while I modify that for me? What do you think? Do I need a big, like a May size version of this, right? Like the only downside is that when you upsize it, right, your striping is going to end up different, right? So my stripes and my own cardi would be a lot smaller, right? So, but that's going through my head with this yarn. But other than that, that's my review of the Premier Yarns Dottie. That's my thoughts. That's my experience. And of course, you know, I want to hear from you. Have you worked with the Dottie, right? What's your experience? Did you like knitting with it as much as I did? Did you like crocheting with it? Are you like me where you're like, ooh, we can't just keep that for our babies, right? I want to try to wear that too, right? It's so soft. Why wouldn't you want to wear it? So, yeah, it is definitely one of the softest acrylics. I have felt a whole range of acrylic yarns in terms of textures. And there are some acrylic yarns that I don't consider really wearable, right? I'm like, nope, I don't want to wear that on my person, right? And then there are sort of like the, you know, sort of the middle of the road acrylics that are, you know, okay, but not necessarily, you know, next to your skin. And then, you know, this is an acrylic that I think is a next to your skin acrylic. It is. So that for me is, I think, says quite a bit about the yarn, because I'm pretty picky about what kind of yarns I'll wear next to my skin. I'm pretty picky about textures and things like that. When I know, right, that I love like wearing like I love wearing like merinos and cashmere and stuff. Like I love really soft textured yarns. And so, and I know how much good texture yarn there's out there, right? So I'm like, you know, I'm pretty picky about what I wear next to my skin. And so when I say acrylic, it's an acrylic that you can wear next to your skin. I think to me that says quite a bit about it. So this yarn comes really, really highly rated by me, okay? The only downside is if you're visually impaired, you might not be able to match it to make your sleeves, straps, and socks match. And some people may think it's too visually busy for some stitches. So other than that, I got nothing but really, really high ratings for this yarn. If you like to do baby projects or you like to do clothing or blankets or whatever, I definitely say give it a try. So let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know what your experiences are. Let me know if these videos help you, right? Like, do you want to go out and buy this yarn after you watch me do a yarn review? Do you want to go out and buy it? Are you like, ooh, I want to try that now? Like, I have no idea if people enjoy these or not, but I just like to let people see what yarns look like, right, in different stitch patterns and how they are to crochet with and what they feel like. To me, that's what I like to know. Like, when I'm thinking about buying a yarn, I definitely want to hear what other people think of it. I'm like, what was it like for you? What does it look like for you? How does it work at crocheting? Does it split? You know, is it soft? Like, I want to know the deets before I buy a yarn. So I like it when people share their experiences. So I want to hear from you. Okay, my friends. Well, thanks so much for listening. And until next time, happy stitching. Bye-bye for now.